So it's your boy Scandies, the hip hop original, and we are here. This is season 2 of the Head-to-Head interview series, episode number 5. We're halfway through the series right now, and I'm joined by an absolute queen, legend in the R&B scene. You know, someone I'd even call a dear friend. But, you know, also an amazing... an acquaintance.
Family, stop being silly.
And it's definitely a pleasure to finally get a chance to sit and speak to you about your illustrious career and where you've come to at this point, because I know we're not done yet. You know, there's a lot more coming. So, you know, for those people that might not be too familiar with you, those rare people that are under a rock somewhere that might not know who Miss Terri Walker is. First of all, I want to officially welcome you to the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop Head-to-Head show.
Hey.
Yeah. And we're going to jump into it, man, straight away. First question.
Yep.
How did you find yourself in music?
Oh my goodness. It's something that kind of just naturally kind of progressed because I'm growing up. My mum used to play music from morning, noon and night. So, and I remember the first time hearing this record by Phyllis Nelson called Move Closer. It's like, move closer, move your body, move closer to me. And I remember like being like maybe 4 or 5 years old and hearing it and thinking, oh my God, this is how I want to make people feel, how she's making me feel right now. And I remember this moment like it was yesterday, always. Like my mum had it on like a 45-inch. Is it like a 40? Because I remember there's different vinyls. 45, yeah. And she had it on and what's the other one? It's the LP. No, it's the LP and 45, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, and I used to literally play it to death. And obviously back then I used to scratch up all the records, just get so mad. But I remember hearing that record and thinking, oh my God, just the way she started singing in the music. And from there on, I just knew I wanted to sing. So from that moment on, anyone that I saw doing it, I tried to emulate them. And so I'd say I was 5. And then the first time I saw Whitney Houston, then that even like kind of progressed. When I saw Lauryn Hill, that was shut down because for me, she could rap, she could sing, she could act. But then she was talking truth. And I was like, you know what? This is the type of artist that I want to be. And then from there on, I just started joining choirs, going to shows, you know what I mean? Going to studio.
So when you say you saw Lauryn Hill and Whitney Houston, were you talking about like on TV or did you?
Yeah, on TV, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was still living in Germany. So from the age of 4 to I was 18, I was living in Germany. So I was a predominantly white country, but I remember they used to always really celebrate a lot of black soulful artists. Mm-hmm. And I just remember seeing them. And obviously they looked like me, so I was like, wow. But then I just remember the vibrations coming through the TV and I remember Sister Act 2 came out. And I remember me and my friend, we went to watch the film back to back. Like one day we saw it like 3 times a month. Because we were like,
cinema.
Yeah, in Germany. And I remember just being like, oh my God, like Whoopi Goldberg blew me away and Lauryn Hill blew me away. And I was like, oh my God. So that's when I just knew this is me. And I didn't stop until I got there, to basically, really.
Okay. So you said you joined some choirs. So is this, what was that experience like? Was that like your first time performing in front of people or? Yeah,
because I mean, I tried to do my thing by myself and obviously I was awful. And I'm like, shut up, you make up too much noise in the house, be quiet. So obviously until I started kind of, you know, getting into being around professionals that did it. And I first started having singing lessons when I was at boarding school. And the only way I could have singing lessons was being classically trained. And so my opera teacher, she used to get so irritated because I still wanted to just sing soul music. So she was like, no, my God, you'd be such a great opera singer. Why do you want to do this secular music? You should be doing this. And I'm like, But then that's when I obviously started to join like the school choir, which is more like a, when I say I want to say white choir, but more like a traditional choir, because it wasn't like a gospel choir, it was more like a whoa kind of choir. And so I just learned how to kind of blend and mix and stuff from there. And then when I left boarding school, I went to Italy Conti for a year and I joined a performing arts school.
So you was over in London by then? So you'd made the jump?
Yeah, so this is the thing. So I moved to Germany when I was 4, but I was living until I was 11. I went to boarding school from the age of 11 till I was 15, until I was 17 in England, but I was still living in Germany. So I was going to boarding school, I was like a boarder, yeah. But then when I left boarding school, I moved to England, back to England, and that's when I went to Italy Conti.
Okay, wow. All right. So so at that point, did you know like this was it for me? I want to be a singer. That's my main passion.
I knew from the age of 5. Yeah, I knew from the age when I heard that woman sing, Phyllis Nelson sing. I'm like, that's me.
Okay.
I knew. I felt something. I was like, this is my calling. And it doesn't matter how long it takes me to get here. I'm gonna get. I remember the feeling like it was yesterday. It's mad. Like, you know, like there's certain memories in your mind that you just remember.
Yeah.
Hence why I've started a show called The Melting Pot, because hence when I have people on, I focus on one person. I ask them, what did you feel when you first heard this song, or where were you when you first heard it? Because I'm basing it off my experiences, because I know that I felt when I heard certain things. So, and it's just changed my life ever since. So,
wow, okay, that's amazing. You know, one question, I don't know if people ask you this much though, yeah, because obviously you spent a lot of time in Germany. I don't know much about the German music scene, but is there a German R&B scene, or does that exist?
I wouldn't know, but of course, when I was there, there was. Like, Germany was big on R&B and soul and reggae. So, but I wasn't really
like
in the
homegrown artists. Or?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. You know, like how France, they play like 70% of their own artists, right? Like places like France and stuff. Germany's very similar. So they play American music, which was there, but then they really make sure that they hone their craft in them before their own homegrown artists as well. But by that point, I'd moved to England then, so I didn't really know it was really happening over there.
Okay, so you're in England now. You've done college, and you start like. Do you start going to open mics? Where do you start getting on the scene? How did that kick off for you?
Yeah, I mean, I never really did competitions because I never felt like I was good enough to compete with anyone. But I would just join, like me and my girls would sing together. We'd sing a song together as a group and stuff like that. But we never really we did like competitions. But yeah, I'll just go to open mics and sing. And back then, I used to feel like I used to be one of them singers that because I was a big Whitney Houston fan before Lauren. I used to always feel like you have to shout and be really loud to be heard. But I always end up losing my voice. And I just, because I didn't sing like that, do you know what I mean? So until I found my own voice and found my little jazzy little quirkiness, I'd get it wrong a lot. And I just be doing yeah.
Wicked. So how did we get the name Terri Walker? Was that like your first choice, or did you somehow stumble upon it?
So at my first management, because I think Chanel at the time, a lot of girls were called Chanel. I remember every parent was calling their child Chanel or Mercedes or Chantel or something. And I just felt like the kind of music that I wanted to make was more older, which is, you know, kind of a bit more mature. And I remember at the time, obviously Walker is my real dad's name, my biological father's name, and then Stettenbauer, which you saw in the thing you had to change. Stettenbauer is my stepfather's name. He adopted me when I went to Germany. So, but I kept obviously paying homage to my dad who passed away. I kept Walker. But I remember being a big fan of like Tony Braxton and, you know, like that whole, and I was quite tomboyish. So obviously the management at the time was like, you know, Terri, and then it was something to do with Texas Walker. There's so many different stories about my name, but I remember though it being very much about it being quite tomboyish, short and cute, but also quite a name that when you hear it, it sounds like someone established, you know?
Right,
kind of sound, which I kind of kept to that. I kept it quite to that point where I make music that kind of stands the test of time. I try to.
Right. So like for example, with us as artists, like when we come across our names, yeah, or someone gives us a name, immediately you feel it and you go like, yeah, this is the right fit for me. Was that the case with Terri Walker?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it was different. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you spoke about being in a management situation. Was it a case that they approached you at an open mic or something, or did they? How did you come about that?
I sang at my dad's funeral. I sang "I'll Always Love You," and I remember this woman coming up to me going, "Yo, my husband, he's in the music, and he'd be great. I want you to meet him. He'd be really great." And then I met him. I kind of auditioned for him, and then at first he was like, "Yeah, okay," but then you know, I guess I kept kind of going back there and going back and forth, and kind of trying to show myself. And he ended up managing me, and then he basically introduced me to people like Young Disciples, Soul to Soul. Omar, Donny, so I kind of started out straight in that, because he was part of that whole clique of people. So do you remember Subterranean on a Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that kind of thing. His name's Aaron Hercules. Like he's the first person that pushed me, and that's how I ended up doing Shanks. I don't know if you knew I did Shanks and Bigfoot. The whole I didn't sing Sweet Like Chocolate, but I sang the rest of the album. Mm-hmm. That's how I got my first gig with them through that management. I was like 18. Yeah, I was 18.
That's wild. The first studio I was ever signed to as a development was, we shared a studio with Shanks and Bigfoot in Chalk Farm. And was you there?
No, because I'm talking about the one I went to was in Wilton that we recorded, but I think I might have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a duo, isn't it? So the short white guy that was in the group, yeah. And we always used to bust joke because he would sit and mix the same song continuously, like all the time. And I was like, how can a man spend so long on one tune?
You know what? He's precise though.
Yeah, they make classics, man. So that's definitely a big look, you know. So off the back of the Shanks and Bigfoot recording, is that when you got your deal to do your debut album, or?
No. So this is one of them stories. So it's one of the times where I was managed by that management, and I did the Shanks and Bigfoot thing, but then they were trying to find my sound, so they had me in all these different songwriters and producers and stuff, and like nothing was hitting. And at the time, he was also managing the Architects, which is, you know, Bet the Money. Yeah. So they had this massive hit, but then they just didn't really know what to do with me. And it wasn't a thing of where I was like envious of them. I just thought like, listen, you guys don't have the time to focus on me. So, and I've been on holiday with my mum somewhere, and I think I've been on holiday somewhere. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go somewhere for a week and just disappear and not tell anyone. But then I met this person I was in the studio with, this guy from LA. And Mum said, you know what, why don't you just go to LA for a week? Fuck it. So can I swear?
Go for it.
Too late now. I said,
it's not broadcasting live, so yeah, you can go for it, yeah. I was
like, you know, I'm going to go to LA for a week. So I ended up going to LA by myself, somewhere randomly in, where was it? Not Boulevard, it was somewhere in California. What's that area? It's like, it was, I forgot what it's called now, but it was like this proper, like a dodgy motel by myself. It was for a week, but I knew the guy, so I said, you know, I'm going to meet you there, whatever else. Like, I'm going to be out there for a week, let's maybe do some work. So I went there for like a few days, and then he introduced me to his brother, who then ended up kind of like saying, yo, come and stay with us, come stay with us. And they lived in Riverside in LA, somewhere like in the desert in LA. And I ended up staying there for a month. And it's one of, and then, do you remember Hinda Hicks?
Yeah.
She was there at the time with her boyfriend, with Michael Hamilton, who I knew at the time. And we both ended up staying there for about, for a week, for a month. And then the first song, Lawful, Ching Ching, and Brand New Day. And Lawful was the song that got me my deal. And that's a song, I remember being in the toilet going, it seems lately you think you got it going on, but you don't stay. I remember writing the first verse in the toilet, they're like, yo, this is dope, let's record it. Crazy. So then the rest of it then happened. And then I came back to England, and everyone's been looking for me because I just disappeared, no one knew where I went. So like, where's you been? We've been worried about you, where have you been? So I'm like, how you know I just went to the States? I've got these songs, but I wasn't managed by that person anymore, so I got someone else to manage me. He heard it, he lost his mind, he was like, yo, shopped to a few people, which was like, because at the time he had this other artist called Daniel DeBork, who had signed to DreamWorks, he was signed to with R. Kelly, so he had all these American links, so he introduced me to like, what's his name? I think it's Magic Johnson's label. It was
Magic
Elektra.
Okay.
Yeah, Magic Johnson's label and Elektra and Def Jam in the States. And they were like, yo, this is dope, we really want to sign her. But then 9/11 happened, so we couldn't fly over to the States. So I had to stay in England. But then Jaha Johnson, who was doing Def Jam UK at the time, was there. He's like, yo, I can't believe y'all here. Y'all never came to see me? What you mean? Saw me, signed me literally there and then. That's how I got my deal.
Was you like the first female act signed to Def Jam UK?
Yes, I was the first female, yeah. Yeah, it was Aaron Soul first and Warren Stacey, the first two acts that were signed there. And then I was the first female artist.
Oh, wicked. That's dope. So how did you, because obviously when your first project came out, you was kind of on this neo soul tip, but obviously you started out with the garage crew. So what happened there? How comes you didn't go down the garage route?
Well, I wasn't ever meant to go down the garage route. It was a thing of where they were big, they needed a singer, and I became the singer. That was never what I wanted to do. But obviously, as I said, I was really into Lauren, I was really into India.Arie, Jill Scott, I lost my mind, Erica Badu. But I was someone like that used to just love music. But when I first started out, obviously, because that's the vibe that I was on, because that's how I was singing, I got writers that would write that type of songs for me. But obviously, then over the years, it just kind of developed that I'm just a singer. I'm a soulful singer, obviously. Right. But that was definitely more orchestrated by the people around me that thought this is the lane that I should go down. Yeah. You know how it happens, isn't it? When you start out, you kind of just get everyone around you, because obviously most definitely not being on the first record, and I've never even got to record it.
Guess you didn't love me now. So whose decision was it to get Mos Def on the record? Because at that time, Mos didn't collaborate with no one from the UK.
Yeah, because what it is, my guy that this guy called Naheem. I don't know if you know Naheem. You must know Naheem. Naheem's amazing. He's a legend. He knew him really well. He was meant to be between Common and Mos Def, and obviously because Jaha was from the States, so he had all the connections. So it was Warren Campbell that produced the record. He did all Mary stuff. So obviously they had a connection, so they kind of pulled it together. And he heard it, and he's like, yo, I like it, this is dope. And he did it. And also because Naheem knew him, and Naheem he knew my dad, and it was all a little bit of a family connection. We're like, come on, just do this kind of thing, you know? So yeah.
So did you get to be in the studio with Mos, or did he just send vocals?
Yeah, but you know what? This is such a really terrible story. Kids, do not do this, really young. So I was dating someone at the time, very much foolishly in love, and I was on holiday when he was doing these vocals. And they were like, yo, Mos is about to do this thing in New York. Come fly to New York and be there with the vocals. They're like, no, I'm on holiday with my boyfriend. I'm not coming. Can you imagine? I'm saying, okay. Now, you look at yourself, what's wrong with you? Like, Mos Def, so I didn't get a chance to be there in the studio with him. But every time I see him, he always said to me, that's one of my favourite collaborations. I'm like, yeah, Mos, that's what you say to everyone, whatever. But then after that, we'd hang out and I'd be around him and do things together with him. But we never ever performed that song ever together.
Really?
Like, whole life, yeah, it's always just been just on record.
And this man's in the UK nearly every 2-3 times a year.
I know. At that point, I was back and forth. I would be in America and back and forth, so we never really always hit at the same time, and it was always like just time with us with different lines.
Because did you guys do a video for it as well, or was there?
Yeah, but he wasn't in it. Yeah, he wasn't in it. We did like a little young version of him and a young version of me, kind of thing.
Okay, right. Do you know one thing that definitely stuck out for me about we're going to talk about the first album as well in a sec, but one thing that stuck out for me from the first album is the track Deutschland, right at the end. And I was like...
It's number 8, it's not the end. See?
Number 8? Okay. Cool. So there's a track called Deutschland, yeah?
Yeah.
And I loved it because I was studying German at the time as well. So I was like, Deutsch. But not really anymore. Now, my Deutsch is rubbish now, but I was getting cussed off in Berlin one time and I don't even know what you could say to me. But anyway.
You studied German then. You never studied German. You don't remember it. Stop it.
Yeah, I didn't practice. That's what I'm saying. If I knew you then my German would be lit. But,
Yeah, sure.
But that was... did you ever release that in Germany or that single?
This is another correct. Listen, my album never got released anywhere but the UK. So this is where it all started to go. But yeah, so when I was signed to Def Jam, it was such a weird time because there was all these different we had different like MDs that kept taking over the company. So each time someone else would have to get to know me. And obviously when I first out, like I got the MOBO, I got 4 MOBO nominations for the first album, Mercury Music Prize. I was everywhere. I did Glastonbury, I did Jules, did everything. So like the accolades and just like the critical acclaim was like really cool. But then I wasn't selling records, but like everyone industry wise knew who I was. But just the world didn't. And obviously, remember at the time, neo soul and stuff wasn't really in it. It was more pop and it was more. So I was kind of the only one kind of doing it. So when we released it, they didn't think to. I think they just didn't think there was any ground in it. And it was like, this is a niche thing. So by the time the second album came along, so all those songs, people didn't really get to hear them. So we started doing the second album because they wanted me to sell records. Right. And obviously, Jamelia had a massive hit with Superstar. So they had me and producers that did that. And that's when they turned me into this weave looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't like to talk too much about the second album.
I do. It's part of the journey. Come on, always.
Yeah. But why was the first album called Untitled?
So again, because I'm a realist. I'm one of the people that way. I didn't grow up in the church or nothing like that. So I didn't sing. Like how them singers that come from a gospel background that sing. Like I taught myself. I was mesmerized. I taught myself how to sing. So I always was someone that was very honest about like I'm still learning. I'm so unaware. So my first album, I need to call it Untitled. So hence, if you see the album cover, I'm in like a gallery, and all the galleries like where you decide, like you look at a picture, and you decide what does it mean to you. So that's what if you listen to the first album, it starts off quite neo soul-y, but then the songs some of them are quite poppy and some of them are a bit more positive. But a lot of people obviously focus on Drawing Board, I Guess You Didn't Love Me, and all the stuff that I've done with James Yard. But I've done stuff with Sammy J on there, and obviously Warren Campbell. And those guys that did Ching Ching with and Loveful. And And obviously, again, I was really influenced by, you know, like music, Soul Child and those kind of people. But I realised I was still finding myself. I knew that one thing I realised, and one of the stories I know Natalie Flores says she hates me telling this story, yeah, but it's one of the best things she ever did for me. I remember seeing her performing, her and Marsha. Is it Black Butter? No, remember that thing that people used to perform at
the spoken word thing, was it in South London?
Yeah. Then she used to shut it down. I'd be like, oh. And then I was on with this girl called Lil L, who she asked me to sing like a chorus for her. It was just so dope. She was amazing. I was like, oh my God, thank you for asking. When I had to sing exactly like Lauren. I was such a Lauren fan. Everything I'd sing would sound like her. So I remember meeting Natalie in the toilet going, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so great. She was, oh no, you're cool too, but you sound too much like Lauren. And I never forget it. And I was like, you know what? Thank you. Because now it made me go, and someone I thought, well, because remember Natalie and Marsha, effortless, on stage. And I remember I'm someone that's still learning, so I'm looking at them thinking, I want to be seamless like these lot. So when I'm going up to her going, but when she said that to me, she said, oh my God, that's such a horrible thing. No, but Natalie, it's not, because this is the problem with the scene right now. People are not honest. What's the point of emulating someone else? You need to be your own person. So from that day on, I decided to find my own voice, and that's when I became Terri Walker.
Okay, wicked.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the actual scene, and obviously being around the scene all these years, what would you say is like the R&B scene, and is there a scene?
Like right now, I'll tell you, since I became independent, I just follow what resonates with me. So it doesn't matter if it's soul, hip hop, rock, pop, folk, like music. So for me, music is music. I actually don't even like this whole scene thing, because I mean, growing up for me in Germany, I grew up in Germany, the country which is predominantly white, but people that just love music. So we went to the club, it would be R&B, hip hop, but then there'd be a bit of rock in there, whatever. So for me, I came into an industry not knowing there was an industry. I just thought you just do music, innit? So even when people say, oh, R&B singer or this, like I don't see myself as an R&B singer, I'll be honest, because I don't think I make R&B music. I make soulful music, yes, but I don't think I necessarily make R&B, because R&B is Usher and, you know, Brandy and Monica to me. I don't really make that type of music. Well, I make house records. Well, records that I've made, they kind of get turned into house records. Or I've made like one or two records, people send me a beat and I'd write over it, and it end up being like a house record. You know what I mean? I just make music.
yeah. You know, but that's one of the most. That's like, I think that's one of the most admirable things about you as an artist, is that versatility. You know, and it also makes me think about the Lady album that you did with Nicole Ray, because when I heard that, I was like, ooh, where did this come from? You know, it's just like, it was like, you know, big band, jazzy, sophisticated, like big grown woman business. So it's like, so yeah, so tell me a little bit, how did that project come together, man?
I was in New York actually, working with Ski Beats and Dave Dash, and then Dave Dash had a gallery in Tribeca.
Right.
That's, again, these experiences that I've had, I feel like I've been like being signed to a major. And then after I decided, because the thing is, again, I have to kind of go back to before I get to that point.
Yeah, sure.
I signed to Def Jam, obviously, and then when the second album didn't do well, like I had a meeting with the MD, and he was like, yo, what happened to Terri Walker? I was like, you know what? Let me go. And a lot of people don't know that story. A lot of people think, oh, she just got dropped, didn't it? I was like, I realised I didn't know what the F I was doing. No one around me knew what they was doing, because hence I would have never done that if I, you know what I mean? So, and it was like a thing of, yeah, cool. But then I ended up doing this album called I Am, which is kind of independent. You know, and I remember someone told me, because I was still talking to people at the label, and they were like, yo, we had a meeting about you, like, we're having a meeting and we're getting all these reviews, and everyone's like, yo, is this record gonna happen? This other record she made that's not on the label, like, just, I think in the way they were like panicking, like, if this is kind of like a success, we look crazy kind of thing, you know? And I thought, wow, that's when I realised already, because industry-wise, like, I have nothing against it, because the industry, there's nothing wrong with the industry, it's about you knowing who you are. Once you know who you are,
yeah,
understand your connections, keep working, keep making music, and eventually you'll get to that point. So me then ended up in New York. I was meant to be working with Stella, actually. I was supposed to do a publishing situation with her, but it didn't work out. So I ended up being out there for a while. And my friend Naheem, again, he was looking after most Dave. He was working with Dave, and he was like, oh, yo, Dave's got this gallery in Tribeca. You know, everyone's in there right now, everyone's coming through. So there was like Currency, Wiz Khalifa, like people would just be walking through there every day. Floyd Mayweather, Stacey Dash. I'm like, and you know, all day I'm like, oh my god, look at these people, I just met them. So I'm there just making music, but no one knew who I was. So I just be singing all these hooks. I remember Cassidy came in, I was just writing all these hooks for people. And to the point where at one point everyone's like, yo, the girl from London, she used to write a hook, man. And then they was like, yo, no more hooks for you, kind of feel like, stop singing everyone talks. Everyone's kind of using you type of thing. And then I ended up making an album with them, but it didn't kind of come out. And then Nicole Ray was there doing a project with Dave. And we met.
So quick one. What was the name of the album that didn't drop? Because the label was Black Rock, right? Or
Black Rock,
yeah.
Meant to call Walk With Me, but it never came out. It was a really good album. Musically, I was such a dope album, but it just wasn't the right time. But also, whilst I was doing that, I was also, because I've been working with Salam Baby, and we did a project called the Champagne Flutes, which was before I even went to New York. And these guys called Truth and Soul, that they had just done the Aloe Black album. You know, I need a dollar. And
they do some stuff with Amy as well, Amy Winehouse.
Well, the guys some of the musicians, yeah, but I don't think they did stuff with Amy. They did stuff with Liam Bailey, Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings and all that, you know. That. And so, and I remember having a meeting with my friend in London, and he was like, "Oh my God, you should meet my guy Keith. He looks after these guys. You know, you should check them out and we work with them." So I sent them the project that I done with Salam. Oh my God, we love it. So I started working with them in Williamsburg. But as I was working with them, they were working with this guy called Lee Fields, who had this really big following, like in that scene. And Dave was a big fan of them. He was like, "Yo, can he asked me if Nicole could come through, and his other girl called Mackenzie that he was looking after." I was like, "Yeah, you know me." I'm like, the more the better. I'm a creative. I don't care who comes. I'm not intimidated by anybody, even if you're better singer. Remember, Nicole will sing it on the table. Like, come true. So we came through now. And next minute, we just wrote about 10 songs and it turned into Lady. And that's it. Wow. This is how things happen with me. I don't think about it. I just make it happen.
Yeah. So was the because I noticed this the Lady album's kind of come back into the spotlight again recently because like a big artist sampled a track off the album, right?
Yes. It's a called Karma.
What'd you say? Oh, the track called Karma.
Yeah, that's funny. That's the one. Because Nicole, this is the thing what would happen. Nicole, she writes within like 2 seconds. So we do a session sometimes, and sometimes I'm not one of those competitive people. Like, I gotta write a song, so I just go along and I'd write my bit, whatever. Then one day we're like, "Yo, Terri, man, you didn't write a song, like your song," and I was like, "Okay." So I literally freestyled. "Ain't nobody worthier than you," on the microphone, and it turned into then Karma, and it turned into that song. That same song was the song that everyone ended up when they went to sign us for that song. They flew us out to LA. Like what was it, Gerda? Who was it? What label was it? Interscope flew me out from London to LA for one day just to have a meeting for that because of that record. Yeah,
this obviously was pre-Zoom.
Yes. But you know, in a way it was good because they wanted to feel that energy because they heard the record. They were like, "Yo, this is crazy." But at the time, I just didn't. Because a lot of what people didn't know about me in America was that I had a career. And when people found out, "Yo, she like," because they would be like, "She famous in London." Like, "You think I don't know your name, huh?" "I know, she famous in London." He introduced me to everyone from Jim Jones, like, "She famous in London." But like, my experience from the industry was, I want the respect before worrying about, you know, just getting co-signed because I'm on a label. Like, I want you to respect me because you respect me in it. So I was doing the work in it. So when that situation happened, me and Nicole would obviously do the Lady thing, but also Nicole had her career. So everyone knew who Nicole Ray was. Come on, Lucy Elliott did it, but no one knew who I was. So it's like I'm the singer that's kind of like trying to make it with her, but no, they're not understanding, like, no, I'm doing this because I see where this is going and I can see it can kind of, you know, make sense. But they tried to sign us, and bless them, you know, I get it, because they didn't know. They tried to basically sign us for like nothing, like exclusively. I was like, I can't do that because if I do that, I can't do anything else. So that then ended up, obviously, then Nicole just becoming Lady and then me having to kind of start again, you know, so yeah. And
how did you feel having to have to leave that situation? Or because obviously
it was
you guys' baby, you know?
Do you know what though? Because again, like by that point, I'd done a project with Salam after I was working with. Now I'm working with so many different people. To me, I can make music and leave it and start again. Like I never worry about even someone streaming my music or bootlegging it, because these days you're not really making money from streams. It's from shows and from people being aware who you are, you know? And back then it was even worse, you know what I mean? So, and also no one really knew who I was. So I had to literally go after get my name out there. So But the problem obviously was me not being part of that project. My name wasn't really getting mentioned with that until obviously now again. But so it was not nice. But I realised that I just had more work to do, really.
Okay. So obviously, you know, it's a big look getting the feature on the French Montana album. Yeah. Did they reach out, or did you just happen to hear it and be like, wait a minute, that's our record? Or
well, no, obviously publishers are like, yo, I have to clear the sample. So anything happens, they have to ask me if we can, you know, we have to all, you know, sign off on it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh. Then when I heard the record, I'm like, yo, and even what he's saying in the record is so aligned with everything I'm going through right now as well. So of course I'm going to say yes. So yeah, that's that. But I've never met him, never spoken to them, but it's just something that the publishers kind of just sorted out. Okay,
cool. So after your time in the States, so we've kind of like entered the next phase of your career now. Like you're going independent. What was the vibe back then? Was you like, did you kind of like, you fully found yourself as an artist now? And yeah, and so what was the next challenge for you? Like after doing the album in Nicole?
The thing is, I was independent after once I left Def Jam, which is 2004 or 5. I've been independent ever since that. I've never had a deal ever since that. So I just carried on.
Okay. Really? And see that project Champagne Flutes, did that come out in the end, or
it came out on a digital platform, and we might still release it properly again because we're looking to add another song onto it. But let me Salam at the time, huh?
Sorry, no, because I was looking for it, I couldn't find it, so I was like, but I do remember it.
It's on Spotify. Anyway, it's called the Champagne Flutes. Salam with Terri Walker. But again, because it wasn't promoted like that, and at the time, I think like Salam really wanted me to get rid of the Terri Walker there because he just felt like, yo, Terri Walker. He just felt like the way I was dealt with in England, he wanted me to start fresh in it. So I called myself Chanel Love for a bit because my real name is Chanel, as you know. Yeah. And we tried to call myself Chanel Love for a bit, and I remember being like, Terri Walker's dead because she got run over by the 266 bus. I get her. She just asked me what was going in. And but then I realised, like, but that's how I got into this industry. That's how everyone knows me. Like, I need to get over that bit, get over the whole, you know, whoopsie daisy, like, nonsense, and just kind of own it and just come back. And then since that, I've kind of been back to that now. Okay,
so did anything ever come out of Chanel Love or no?
No.
So it was a studio thing kind of vibe.
Yeah, it was a thing, and because Salam to this day he doesn't like calling me Terri, he just calls me Chanel. Like he does just like Terri. Chanel, she is Chanel, and I am Chanel.
Man, and is there? And do you still work with Salam Remy? Or...
Listen, I speak to him every day. We speak every day, every morning, every day. That's my family. He's been there throughout the whole. After we did that, he's been there for everything I've done. He's always been there. He's been my advisor, my mentor. Just, I call him the artist whisperer because when I worked with him, and obviously, everything that he's done, like I was there when he made that Miguel record, you know, All I Want Is You. And I've seen him in action, just making records and people just be nervous, but then him always making the artist become the artist who they're supposed to be. And what he did for me, he just gave me that confidence to say, yo, you the shit, yo. You the shit. Yeah. And I was like, oh, the shit. But come on, you can't get a better co-sign than Salam Remy. Come on. Nas, Amy, Fuji, get out of here, man. You know what I
mean? Yeah. No, that's incredible, man. That's incredible. So we had a bit of a, like, did you take a career gap, like, between 2011 to 2015, or did you just, I don't know, living, or?
Well, this is the thing. Like, I've never actually stopped doing music. It's just that the problem, what happened was, is that I was just moving a bit like, F everybody, I don't really care. Like, I wasn't really turning up as an artist, so I'd make records, but people wouldn't really mention my name. I might be in a record, but you wouldn't know that was me singing. And I get it, because I wasn't trying to conform. I wasn't trying to be part of the scene and, you know, play the game and stuff. So, but I was doing records with Deneo, a lot of house records, Toddler T. I worked with a bunch of people that was doing stuff, but I just don't want this talk about me.
Yeah, okay. So the project Untitled was seen like as the big comeback record, yeah?
Ooh, yeah, you know what's interesting? Yeah, because that was straight after Lady. Okay. So like, but that's what Woody told you was kind of like a direct, like, how can you be mad when you've been so I kept saying to them at the time, I'm doing other things. Like, Lady is not my main focus. But again, obviously, for all the effort and talent they put in, they're like, this is what you do. Because they want us literally to just become these two singers, kind of like do this kind of like chitlin circuit thing. And I'm like, me, Nicole Ray and Terri Walker, like, this combination with you guys is crazy. You guys need to understand, if you come to England, I already have a career. Like, I'm with Charles Peterson, I'm in with all these people, I've already got one extra. But they didn't understand, because they saw me as this, hey guys, I'm so happy to be here in America. Not understanding that. You know the way I am. I don't care, innit? Like, you see me coming there, I'll be there with my slippers and my flip-flops in a club, I don't care. But obviously, industry-wise, especially R&B hip-hop, you need to be, and Nicole was very much, she is the artist, and I was never really that person. So when I did that, I think, so Entitled, when obviously that situation happened, a bit kind of, had to move on. And again, like, I never actually, until this album that I'm making now, which is Making with Children's Zeus, I've never actually intentionally gone in and said, I'm gonna make my own album. I've always just made music. But Entitled kind of happened because I was working with Joe Buda, and we did an EP called Untitled to Entitled, which had a few dope songs on there. And then Lose Twice was actually one of the first songs me and Buda ever produced together, like, we made together. And Lose Twice is a song that's when I was like, on my mind all the time, thinking about the things that I left behind. Like, people, so I think a lot of people, until you get to know me, when you listen back to the lyrics, they'll be like, oh, it was all about that time I was going for a place where I just hated everybody. I thought everyone hate everybody. I was like, how dare you? Because I'm so passionate about this music stuff. So sometimes even when we speak, and you're like, oh, can we do this? I'm like, guy, like, right now I'm in a place, I'm trying to get back to loving this again, and I don't want it to be contrived. I don't want it to be forced, or I don't even want it to be strategic. I want it to be something that feels natural, It's like the melting pot, and I think, again, with people that understand the work, it's been 3 years since I've been doing it, but it's all about people understanding, like, this is my life. I do this, and I don't mind going to work. I don't mind doing other things separately. But if you ask me to do anything, make sure you ask me as Terri Walker. Don't ask me to do something because it's part of your. Make sure you ask me because of the respect in it. So. So I think that's what it became. So Entitled was a thing of saying, yo, I deserve to be here. I'm a name in this, innit? If you don't respect it, don't ask me to go away.
Real talk, man. So what made you decide to do a project with, like, Joe Buda, who is obviously traditionally seen as a hip hop producer, for your next project?
No, because he actually at the time, because then we did Breakout, I was managed at the time by Playgroup, by Ray Paul and Yao, great guys, and he introduced me. Yao introduced me to Buddha, and me and Buddha instantly just clicked. And like working with Buddha is like working with Salam, or James Yard. Like, he just gets me. I don't have to. My vocal doesn't even need to be right. I do something, he just gets it. I was just so blessed to work, and I will work with Buddha till the day I die. Like, he's someone that is. He's part of me, So, but again, like, the hip hop thing, I think even just from the first time I'm thinking about it, a lot of it is quite hip hoppy in a way. You know what I mean? I think it kind of, I guess maybe because of the whole Lauryn Hill influence, I think I've always kind of gravitated towards that anyway. About trying, but I'm so for hip hop. So, and Buddha could do it.
Yeah, I'm to be honest with you, I'm surprised you don't rap more. Because I know whenever I see you perform, I know you obviously rap most Steph's verse. So you put in your New York accent and you do your thing. So I mean, and obviously you have a lot of MCs, especially on the Breakout album. There's a lot of rappers on it. Like, you never tempted to, even Mary J. Blige dropped to 16 on a Busta Rhymes track one time. It's like, is that ever something you've been tempted to do?
I have too much respect for you guys, man. I can't embarrass myself like that. No, like, for me, like, if that's what I'm meant to do, I'll do it. And I think I remember one time when Ski wrote me a rap for that album that I thought I did, he wrote me a rap. But I'm like, when I listen back to it, like, it's a bit, like, when I do Moses thing, it's only because I've never performed with him and there's no one else to perform it. So I feel like it's part of the performance, you know what I mean? But I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I'm a singer.
But so going back to the Breakout album, I noticed you showed a lot of love to the UK hip hop legends on that project. We got Rodney P, we got the late great Ty on that album, on that project as well. So was it your decision? And Children of Zeus, was it your decision? Was it your decision to include them, or was that Joe Buda? Yeah.
Listen, ever since I've left my label, anything I do is always down to me. I don't ever let anyone kind of bully me or force me. There's only one record, maybe like with the Entitled album, where someone was like, oh, can I get to production on there? But I realised after that, if something doesn't feel natural to me, I ain't doing it. So yeah, I asked Children's to be, I asked Ty to be, I asked Rodney to be, and I asked Jerry to be on it. Yeah.
Right. And I know a few years before that, Ty invited you on his album.
Yes. Wait, was it? Which one was it? It was
Is that a Work of Heart? No, not a Work of Heart. Sorry. Special Kind of Fool.
Special Kind of Fool. Yes. Mm-hmm. I think I didn't even do that much on there. It was more Vula than me. Because again, at that time, when people was asking me, I didn't understand why people would ask me to do things. So I felt like I never had a hit. And they were like, oh, what you tell like, but to me, I've never had a hit in it. But for some reason, industry-wise, I was like, no, what you're doing, I'm like, yeah, I hear you. But so my confidence, like, even writing, I was like, thank you. Now, different. Like, come on, let's do this. Ask me, I'm looking at Ty, I'm like, Ty's like a genius. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what do you want me to do on this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you mad? Like, you're tired. And now, when I look at it now, I'm like, God, like, it was such an honor, such a compliment to be asked. Do you know what I mean? Like, such an honor.
Man. So obviously you got to perform with Ty on a few occasions. What was their experience like, or your memories of working alongside Ty?
You know what? The first time I ever met Ty, actually, I was signed to Def Jam. And I don't know if you know James Yard and all them, but you know them, right? Yeah. James Yard and White Children. So they were doing my band. So obviously he'd come to my rehearsal. So we were sitting in my rehearsal, and this guy's just sitting in my rehearsal, chatting to everybody, talking to everybody in the room except to me. Okay. And I was thinking, okay, all right. Still, even by the end of it, he didn't introduce himself to me or nothing. But then next minute, my show that I did at the Forum, he opened up for me. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this guy is incredible. Because obviously his energy on stage is mad. Like, I'm like, oh. And then obviously I'm like, yo, so you're the one in my marathon? He's like, yeah, because I think Ty wanted to let me know, listen, I'm tired of it before you think you newcomer, you come because you got signed, who did you think you are? Which is rightly so, you're like, how can I deal? I'm the special one. But I never did that anyway, but I just thought, but then me and him bonded from there on, and that's it, because it was a family setting, isn't it? But then me and him performed, even whatever, we did a song on my album called I Am, which is called Addicted. And he does this wicked like little verse, and does this little skit at the end, and he just freestyles. And Ty was special, such a special human being, man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I know, right? Special.
Yeah.
Special.
Very special, man. And what's your experience working alongside Rodney? Because he's just literally just put a single out with you on it as well, right?
Well, again, my cousin, self-taught, was doing a remix of his song, and I heard, I was like, yo, I'm jumping on this. I literally hijacked it. I just passed up myself. I wasn't meant to be the record. But this is like 5 years ago we did that. But before that, I had a record with me, him, and Black Einstein, you know, C-Suite?
Yeah, I know definitely know the name, Black Einstein, yeah.
So he did we did a track with C-Suite. We had a record called Delusions of Grandeur, and it was me and Rodney on that. So I've never met Rodney, but we've been on the record together. But the meeting Rodney, one of the realest people you ever meet, you know, so.
Yeah.
Rodney's a legend. And I think Rodney for me is bigger than music, because his movement, and it's the way he is as a person, the way he thinks, the things that he talks about, especially the record that we're on. Like, and remember, we did that 5 years ago, but that record is so relevant now.
Yeah.
And then even after everything obviously he's gone through as well. Sorry. After everything we've gone through. And to show, like, you know, like when you've got something, like when you understand your gift, like you always find a way, innit? So when he decided to put it out, because I'm nowhere, he's like, oh, we're doing a video. I was like, excuse me, you know what? He's one of the people that's like, hello. But I mean, like, you hip hop people, this is what you did to me as well at that bloody rehearsal, yeah? You, yes, you. Yeah, you people. But this is the hip hop radio, innit? There's not too much talk, we just get on with it, innit? So
yeah, guerrilla style, man. Out in the middle of the night, singing the road. You know,
it's true. That's what it is. That's what happened. I was only meant to do a few CDs, but I'm doing a full-on video show. I'm like, excuse me, any makeup on there?
Right. So group you always speak very highly of, and like you said, you're currently doing a project with Children of Zeus. Yeah. So how did that collaboration first come together, man? Because these guys are doing like amazing things right now. It's
so bad because me and Tyler, we would do these different shows together, and I'd always kind of back up on it. But then I'd see Connie and them like out, like imagine, like, oh, we like big fans of music. I'm like, okay, I didn't know who they were. And Connie ended up telling me that apparently my first show that I did in Manchester, like Man on the Wall, like they DJ'd for me, like I don't remember it. You know, back then I was just like, you know, you know when you think, like, but again, I didn't know nothing about the industry. I was just in it. I was just happy to be there. And then obviously they're making this record now, and obviously I found out like there used to be a broken English, and then Tyler was part of this whole thing, double net drama. Like I didn't know anything. All I know is that us as people, we go through the same different journeys, and we're on the same path. So they see me as this Terri Walker person. So I'm like, yo, I'm you guys. I'm the same as you. I ain't no different. I've been chipping away, trying to find my own label. Yes, Terri Walker because of the major label. It's like I'm doing it backwards now, isn't it? In a way, like I'm understanding. They understood the graph because this is what they did with Billy Goff, the producer, their own beats. I got thrown in the deep end and had everything from Glastonbury, Jules Holland, 11-piece band. Do you know what I mean? Everything, makeup artist. Blah, blah, blah. So obviously you become this person that everyone puts on this pedestal, but I'm still a human being that still haven't grown into those shoes yet. But now I feel like I've grown into those shoes, you know what I'm saying? Because I think I need, for me to be able to own it and be like, yeah, I'm Terri Walker, I feel like I need to know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't know what I was doing back then. Hence Untitled, and then Entitled, and then Breakout, and now, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the name of the next project then?
See, I don't even really yet. I was gonna put it something, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet.
Okay, we can wait. We'll be patient with it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna love it.
So we're gonna be expecting that next year. You say? Yeah,
because I tried to record most of it the other day, but we ran out of time. But it's like we've got 7 songs so far, and every song is just like I'm in a place where. And I initiated this. I wanted to make this album. I called them, said, this guys. And I don't do that. You know, you go, okay, come and drop on the project. That's how I end up doing projects with people. But I wanted to make this album, and I wanted them to executive produce it. I said, because I worked with Wood and everyone else, but I said, I want you guys, because the way that I trust different people, but I wanted to be taken to a different direction. And I feel like they see me, and they know of me, and they know my music. So they understood what I'm about and what I want to say. But also just like what they've done with their thing, it's like it's so unapologetic, but it's just so dope. Like it's undeniable. And I'm all about undeniable. I don't want to do nothing that isn't. Anything I do, I want it to stand the test of time. And if I'm not playing it every day, then I'm not interested.
Yeah. That's incredible, man. And also in terms of you making music, right? Obviously now you're a radio personality, got your show on Soho Radio. Right, big in the game, like you know.
Like, this is the thing. What makes me laugh, because people still like, okay, can I come on your show? Can I play something? Like, no, the show is not about me. The show is called the Motor Point. It's about one person. So maybe radio personality, I'm literally just there asking questions, and that person's just telling me about their experience. I'm giving them a platform for them to tell me about what shaped them in it. So I'm literally just. The person is the star. Like whoever I have on, like I had my sister on the other day. It's her birthday. And she's the one that got me, you know. Believed in me, pushed me. I've had Goldie, I've had Jules Holland, and we'll have you on one day. You know what I mean? It's all people. The Motor Point is all people that have shaped me and have made me maybe become the person that I am. So it could have been like the milkman. Me and him say hello every day, like, yo, so what shaped you? Why are you the way that you are? Why are you so friendly everybody? Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things because I believe that, you know, as I say, it takes a village to raise a child, doesn't it? Like all these different facets of people is what shapes us. Every experience shapes us. So I've had my accountant on, like, which is obviously random, but he's been someone that saw me, believed in me, and he's been with me ever since I started out. And I like hearing his story, how he started his business from a family business from Greece, and hearing all the music that he played. And it's funny because everyone's been on, it's either a Jamaican background that they play or it's all so Motownish. It's crazy. Everyone that I've had on has kind of come from a very similar background. Like it's mad. Okay. So it shows you, like, we're kind of connected. Music connects us in different ways.
Okay. But that was leading me on to my next question. So having your radio show, okay, how has that affected your evolution as an artist?
It's even better because, it's funny thing, my first show I did on Soho Radio, because I'll do different little trials to see how I could work it out. So the first show I had, and I remember playing like 2 hours of just all my own music. So the guy was like, oh, it's a really good show, but you're playing all of your own stuff. I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's not a good thing. So then I thought to myself, okay, I need to find a way to make it maybe not. Then ever since that, I've made it purposely that I don't play any of my own stuff, or I don't play other people's music. So it's more a thing of where I'm celebrating people that have inspired me. So having Deneo one, for instance, I had Frisco one for Boy Better Know. Do you know what I mean? Like different types of people. Goldie, like we're all different. But I've worked with all these people separately. They've all been part of me that have made me become who I am now. Unapologetic, you know. Because when you're working with people like that, Rodney, Ty, you know what I mean? Buddha, Salam was good on it. You know what I mean? It's like it's people that are like have really created like boundary breakers that have created lanes for people. But I've got my own lane, and I'm kind of giving, I'm kind of connecting us all, you know. So I think for me as an artist, it's just kind of just giving me that platform to let everyone know, she does this, you know, and she's respected by these people that you respect, but you might not know who she is yet, but you will, you know.
Okay. So I noticed that you kind of have that. You still got that like what's it called? The what's the word? Underdog mentality when you know the way you approach things.
Always. Salam the other day, like Salam was because he had Shoulders Due to second. I was like, yo, these guys are dope. And I remember he was like supposed to talk to them, but then they were like, yo, like Salam was kind of telling us what he done. Like we know who he is, but like it shows you no matter how big you are, if someone inspires you, I'm never gonna be like, oh, like I'm Terri Walker, you should work with me. If you don't want to, I want you to want to work with me, not because of who I am and what I've done. If you don't know what I do, I need you to understand why. Like sometimes the people go like, oh, we should work together because that person's hot right now. If I'm not feeling it, doesn't matter how many records you've had. I don't care. It has to feel right. It has to be natural, you know.
For real, man. So you also got like a monthly residence at the chip shop as well. So how did that come together now?
Again, Mike kicked me out. And I was like, oh, would you like to do an event here? And that natural. And because of the Melting Pot, and then I decided the Melting Pot Live is kind of like an extension of the radio show where it's free, it's open to anyone. I try to have an open mic section, but a lot of people seem to be scared to come on an open mic because, to be fair, I do customers, they're rubbish. So but I've also, because of obviously COVID, because before COVID it was crazy, like people were just coming through. But I think everyone I've done so far, it's been such, you came to one, it's been such a vibe. Because it's like in a way, I'm giving you a chance to kind of just connect with the people that I connect with and make it like make it come into my world. So anyone that comes through, I want artists to understand that this whole having to play the game, no, you just got to be around like-minded people. That's all it is. It's about being around like-minded people, keep talking, keep grafting, keep connecting, nothing by force, and eventually, like us having this interview now. You know, you could have asked people, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this interview. Who are you? No. But because we've got to know each other, and it's natural. So when I talk to you, I know sometimes you're still cussing you, but this is what I do to people that I love, you know?
So you mentioned it briefly, and this is a question I bring up in all my interviews. How did lockdown and the pandemic affect you artistically?
Crazy because because even when I was recording with the guys the other day, I'm not very good at recording myself. So because I'm so anal, I'm very OCD, and I will do that thing over and over again, and I'll hear it differently each time. So I need someone there to help me. But what it's done, it's made people actually see me. Because remember when I write stuff, I think I'm an empath because I feel stuff. I feel, even though I just feel everything. So it's made me just become more vocal about who I am. Whilst before, you know, like trying to push your music, when everyone's trying to push your music, it's long, isn't it? It's like you're just getting lost in a sea of stuff, isn't it? But I think what's really made me understand about myself as an artist is that I have something to say. And I don't talk just for the sake of talking. I'm not just going to jump on fads or trends or what everyone's talking about right now. If it doesn't resonate with me, I'm not going to. But if something does, I'm trying to make people see that there's different ways of being an artist, you know? So I think COVID and even lockdown has really helped me to be seen with my little mad, quirky, all the way around crazy self, really. Yeah.
Okay. So I would, even though we're probably halfway through the career right now, what would you say is, or maybe, well, can still be early days, you know?
No, but I feel, yeah, there we go.
I feel like as an artist, you still got a lot more to give, right? So, yeah?
No, I do, but again, if it's not natural, I'm not forcing it. If it's not, you know, I'm not going to force, like, oh, you should put out more music. I've had so much music out that people never heard yet, do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm not one of those people that, like, if it comes, it happens. I think I want to do the music until I'm 102, whatever long I live, I can, you know, but it has to be the right thing, not just anything.
Okay. So we're coming up to almost like the 20 years since the first project dropped. What would you say is like, you know, what would you say is the Terri Walker legacy?
You know what? Unapologetic, you know, babe. I think that's what it is, really. Like I think remember I started out as this artist, you know, with everything around me, and I think what I realised, what my magic was not necessarily all the big fanfare. It was connecting people and allowing people to see themselves through me. So everyone around me, like and I'm not saying that I've helped this person get here, but all I know is that when I decide to give my energy towards someone, I see them because they end up doing something. Do you know what I mean? Even someone asked me to be a part of it. So I think the Terri Walker legacy is pay it forward always. Always, you know, connect, collaborate, forget the ego, leave the ego out. Because as I said, me and Salam, people like Salam and all of it, but we are the family, we're the same, and he respects me how I respect. Obviously, at first I'm like, oh, Salam. Now he calls me for advice, and I'm like, oh, Salam, you're asking me what? But then at the same time, I get it because he sees how I've been doing stuff and how I'm still happy. Because I'm a naturally happy person, really seriously, and I realized that things start to make me not feel good about myself and like make me start questioning myself. I was like, nah. And I had to get back to this place where I have to be comfortable, no matter what size I am, no matter how I look, no matter how many records I have, no matter how many followers I have, I need to be comfortable knowing that I'm enough in it. And that's what it is, you know? And I think, so the music that I make attracts those type of people that are trying to do that. So, you know, I'm like a magnet to that.
That's beautiful. That's a really admirable thing, man. And reading some blurbs about the Lady album when it first came out. One of the things that you lot were saying at the time is that you wanted to make music that inspired young women and girls. And is that something that's still really important to you as an artist today?
Always. I want to inspire people that look like me, or I want to inspire anyone that thinks like me. I want to inspire anyone that, you know, feels like, because again, you don't like me say, oh, R&B seed or this seed. I grew up, I was born in England, grew up, age of 4, moved to Germany. I had experienced the whole other world. So I got to see the world differently. Then I got signed, I got to experience a whole other world. So I experienced all these different avenues of the world where I'm like, I'm a part of so many people. So for me, it's so important that I inspire people to understand, like, listen, the world is your oyster. Your mind is mind blowing. You could do anything you put your mind to, you could do. So, you know, starting out, I was a bit voluptuous in the big barber, like, oh, you need to lose your barber. The next minute, J-Lo comes along, it's a big thing, you know. But at the time, they were making me feel like I need to be, you know, a certain way. And I'm like, I was fine where I was, you know what I mean? And I'm fine no matter what. As I said, I could put on weight, lose weight. I'll be, oh, you should, you know, you're an artist. What does that mean? I'm an artist. I make music. Like, it's not the music. Sometimes before, when you look at some people like a Bob Marley, he's not even here, but you're still listening to his music. You don't need to. Doesn't matter what he looked like. His music, his words, his intentions. It's about your intention, you know. So, you know, being an artist. It's a hard thing to even describe. You know what I mean? It's like I don't see myself as, oh, I'm a Terri Walker artist. Like, oh, that's why people call me a diva. I get annoyed. Like, one thing I'm not is usual a diva, but that's what people want to do with it. I'll be so, you know, no, I just don't do nonsense.
Right.
Nonsense, you know.
That's awesome, man. And artistically, as a singer and as a songwriter, are there still like goals, still things you want to grow and evolve into?
No, see, this is the thing. Like for me, as I said, when I'm getting respect from people like Children Zeus, who are, for me, like when I look and listen to their record and they ask me to be on their record, I'm like, I feel like I could pass away now, and I feel like because I'm respected by people that are doing it next. Do you know what I mean? And they're making my next album, so that's it. That's what it's for. Like, I'm inspiring the next generation, and they still want to work with me. They're still making me relevant. What else can I want? Do you know what I mean? For me, I mean, this whole like people, oh, how I should be in the theatre and I should do this. I'm like, or when they say to me, I should do Aretha Franklin because I look like her. I'm like, I've never tried to. I want to be Terri Walker. That's all I want to be. I want people to understand that you could be you. I want you to understand that you could be you. You could be Terri Walker. You could be Carly. You could be Nelly. You could be whoever you want to be. You could be whoever you. But you have to understand that you have to grow it. You have to experience it. You have to learn. You have to know when to say yes, when to say no.
Yeah.
When you know, when to not feel guilty for having the opportunity. Sometimes you feel guilty for having opportunities that others don't have, because you feel like, oh, there's all these things that you have to learn as an artist until you get to that point where you just can just be on stage and just do this. Because then that way it opens doors for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Speak up.
Yeah. And are there still artists out there that you would like to collaborate with in the future, or people that inspire you, like today?
You? No, like for me, I just want to like listen. As I said, if it's dope, I'm on it. I'm at that place right now where before I'm like, oh, I'm so excited about this and that. I'm listening to music, and I mean, but like nowadays, I'm honest because I'm older. I'm 42, so you know, there's nothing new on the sun at this point. So. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, are you owning 42, or are you just like, nah?
Listen,
no one's buying that, right?
I don't know, because I act like a child. That's why. For me, if I don't think about it, I forget. I can look at myself. I'm not sitting there thinking I'm 42. I'm a big woman enough. Oh, I don't act like a 40-year-old, but I can. You know, I'm so mature. Got a house, got a mortgage. You know, got responsibilities and all that stuff. You know, business and label. But I'm a spirit, man. I'm a free spirit, and I'm here to show love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. And you know what? We're definitely looking forward to the new project. And in terms of live shows, when are you back on the road?
Well, this is
there a plan for that?
It's been hard, obviously. Once the record's ready, then I can kind of piece all that stuff together. But right now, I just want to get the record ready, sound, visuals, and then all those things will come into place. But you know, like the one that like to do like a few one-off shows. I've got an agent or nothing like that. So and those things, you have to build those things up again, don't you? Because I haven't really been around as a live artist. I've been doing all these other things. So, you know, once I have a product out and people are talking about it enough, then I can start booking shows in, you know. But I'm not forcing anything. Yeah. Yeah.
That's dope. That's what we're looking forward to. And we're looking forward to the new project. And we're looking forward to the new single and the video and everything that comes with that. Yeah. And yeah, man, us as a platform will continue to support you and all that you do.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service to the scene, being an inspiration to young Black girls around the globe, not just here. Quick bonus question: when are we going to get this EP or album in German?
I don't know yet. Not for now.
Missing out on that Deutschmark.
Deutschland, you can't nicht vergessen. Do you know what I say on there?
What's that?
You know what I say on that record?
No, tell me.
I said, Germany, how could I forget you? 30 years we were together, didn't really want to leave you. You taught me so much, like how to stick together. Because obviously being Black and, you know, being over there, you have to kind of learn how to, you know, mingle and kind of like, you know, connect with people. And I didn't really want to leave you at the end. And yeah, which is yeah. And that's it. I literally freestyled that again.
Right. Because I remember Nicole Ray was saying that you guys toured Germany, right? As Lady.
Oh, listen, let me tell you something. That Lady album, it was streamed by Rolling Stone. That album, we opened up for Lee Fields, so starting out. Then after that, we had our own tour, sold out every show that we did in the whole of like America, Europe. We smashed it. But then, as I said, because things didn't go that way, that album was about to go. It was getting rate, like it was getting playlisted. People were telling me, "Oh, I hear your music all the time. Hear your voice." It shows you how the industry. But again, it was such a learning curve because it again showed me that I could never be held hostage. But as like creatively, I can let something get and start again in it. But like sometimes this is what the industry does to you. They feel like, oh, once you've done this, that's it. Your husband, like. You know. But it was such a great. And now we've obviously all reconnected and we're all cool. Like it was a learning curve, you know. So it was good.
Right. So you guys still cool? Would you ever consider a sequel?
Listen, I don't know about sequel, but like that woman changed my life. Like her singing, like remember vocally, I don't come from where she comes from. So her taking me under her wing and allowing me to sing with her and trusting me to like without on stage crazy, like so forever. Like it's an honor just to even be next to her name. You know what I mean? Like someone has just started to sing, like taught us how to sing. You come from that. Nicole is like mind blowing. Like she's incredible. So always love her for life, unconditional.
That's dope. That's dope. Awesome, man. Well, again, officially, Miss Terri Walker, we'd like to thank you for your time and joining us for episode number 5 of the Head2Head series. And yes, we want to once again wish you all the best going forward. And much love, as always.
See you at the next Milkpot Live.
Chanel love.
Really?
Well, officially for the podcast, let me say peace. Wicked.